bleh. Hello, and welcome to the Nerdy Photographer Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Fatchett. In case this is your first time listening, or you haven't tuned in for a while, in addition to bringing you entertaining, informative discussions about photography, I am also embarking on adventures with the crew of the Starship Fibonacci. I like to call them my hashtag Nerdy Photo Crew. Right now, we're standing in the rain on the planet Imberius Maximus, waiting for Fibonacci to pick us up. Did you guys know that it rains here every day?
Snug.
You did? And none of you told me to bring a raincoat? That's totally appropriate, but still not the right time. Okay, we have another story submitted by one of our listeners, Josh Cato. Check it out after this short break. So it really never stops raining? Hey everybody, it's Casey from the Nerdy Photographer. It's that time of year again. It's time for all of the Black Friday and Cyber Monday photography deals. There are so many deals out there. It's kind of hard to find all of them. And I mean, you want to make sure that you're getting the best price out there. So the Nerdy Photographer has taken the trouble of gathering up the best deals around the internet and putting them all in one place for you. So head over to nerdyphotographer.com and check out our list of the top photography-related Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. There are deals on web hosting, site templates. There's gear, tons of gear deals out there. Deals on presets. You name it, we've got discounts for it. So again, head over to nerdyphotographer.com and check out our list of the best Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals for photographers. You'll be happy you did it. Hey, are you looking to add more dynamic content to your marketing? Do you want to drive customers to your website with videos about products, services, or content, but don't have the time to learn video editing software? Head over to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/Animoto to try Animoto for free. That's right, you can sign up and try it out for free. Just drag and drop your photos and videos, or pick from the thousands of stock photos and videos in their library and create a video in just minutes. Customize fonts, colors, and layouts easily, or choose from their templates. You also get to select your music from thousands of pre-licensed tracks. Stand out in your customer's social feed. Videos get more likes and shares and click-throughs than any other content. Create videos in landscape, square, or vertical formats depending on which social media platform you are exporting to. Or, once you're done making one video, make a copy and convert it to another format to share on another platform. No need to make separate videos. Animoto is easy, intuitive, and doesn't require learning new software. Get started right away. Go to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/Animoto. That's nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/ANIMOTO to get started for free. Hey everybody, Casey here. In this episode of the Nerdy Photographer Podcast, we have another story submitted by a Nerdy Photographer fan. Josh Cato contacted me with this story that every photographer can literally feel. You know, when you see a video of a photographer dropping a piece of equipment and it shatters on the ground, or maybe you see a wedding photographer walking backwards during a reception or during a ceremony and they fall into a fountain with all of their gear and everything gets soaked. Well, yeah, it's that kind of story. A story where a photographer bets $4,000 to $5,000 worth of gear against the elements of nature and loses. A photographer Josh was working with at a sporting event thought that weather sealing on his camera and lens equaled the camera being weatherproof in the pouring rain. While Josh decided to sit it out, this guy he was working with decided he would risk all of his camera gear in a downpour without any sort of weather gear to protect it. And with that, I'll let Josh pick it up.
It wasn't immediately. That was the thing. It was kind of like after about 30 minutes, I think he noticed like water was starting to seep into his lens. That's when he started noticing it. So, I mean, it was pretty much probably drenched by then to, be able to see through your lens.
Once you're able to notice that it's inside the camera, then, it's already too late.
Yeah, and he kind of like stayed out there for a little bit trying to like figure out what was wrong first before he went in, which was a big no-no too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess my other question is why why don't you put something over the camera? Like I'm just going to stand out in the rain with nothing, like a weather cover, like even a garbage bag. Like I've like punched a hole in a garbage bag before and just like stuck my lens through it just to because it started raining really hard and out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, well I got to keep shooting, but I need to put something over my camera so it doesn't get
Yeah,
wet.
that was what I usually did during the rain. Also, since I had an older camera, it wasn't it wasn't like gonna be that weather. So it's like even light drizzle, I'm gonna put something over my camera and lens just to make sure, no matter how sealed it advertises to be.
Yeah, I mean, you can advertise it as weather sealed. It's sort of like dust and water sealed, but it just, I mean, that's like keep things from blowing into it. It's not like I'm going to like put it under water or like under a running faucet and like it's going to keep the water out.
Yeah, it's not like the weather sealing or water sealing on your phone for sure. Definitely nowhere near close to
Yeah,
that. I think
it's
that's
like
one misconception people would have with that. Just like comparing your phone's weather or water sealing to like a camera is not a good idea.
No, because I mean, like your phone is generally a solid piece for the most part. I mean, it can come apart, but it's sort of like it's all sealed together. Whereas your camera has lots of pieces that like first of all, you take a lens off of it. There's a big opening. There's a big hole there. That's the main place where things get in, and it's the most important part of the camera where your like sensor is. It's like that's where things are going to go really, really wrong if you happen to leave something gets in there. Especially, and the other thing is, even if it doesn't, you don't have like a critical failure like that, like of like water getting in and just absolutely destroying the camera. You run the risk of getting just even moisture inside there at all. You can have fungus grow inside your camera or your lens, and some people have had like lenses ruined just because like you can just see like this little like thing on the inside of the glass and the elements, whatever. And people are always going, oh, what's going on? Like, well, it's actually like a little bit of fungus like growing on the inside of the lens because moisture got in there.
I didn't think it could get that bad, but yeah, that does make sense. But his problem, I think, was just to mess up his sensor or something like that. So that was probably a pretty expensive fix.
I don't know if you can fix that. I mean, if you have water like running into your camera from the lens, I mean, I think you're probably done at that point. I don't know that you're coming back from that. It's like those videos you see of like people going, oh, I'm going to clean my camera. It's like somebody taking their cameras they're never going to use again, like putting it in a bucket of water and like soaking it up, whatever. But it actually not being it's an expensive mistake to make.
Yeah, especially with that camera. I mean, that's just 3,000 plus his lens down a drain, so probably like around 4, just gone in an instant like that.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the camera model, you were talking about like 4,000 to 5,000 at least.
Yeah, and then I mean, if you had to get a new camera, he's probably going to get like something. I don't know. I don't remember if he got the same camera. I think he came back with like one of the 5D series, probably the Mark IV.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen people make errors like in judgment, like, oh, I can jump across that river, like there's a little stream in the woods with my camera in my hand, and then slip and the camera goes down and into the water and breaks, whatever. That's an accident, whatever. But this is like something that you're choosing to go out there. I mean, I just every time I like read what you wrote me, I sit there and go like, why do you make the decision to go out there and take pictures when you know that this could like damn it?
It was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it just pains me. And every photographer can feel that pain of just like knowing like, oh man, because even if it's not like your camera or your equipment, which is what we all fear. Like I've watched the videos of like wedding photographers who fall over, like walking backwards and don't pay attention to where they're going and fall over into a fountain or something. And you're just like, oh, and it's like, oh,
even
that's not good. That's really not good.
Little silica things, things that like, moisture. I keep a crap in my bag.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I keep a bunch of those whenever I get one, and I highly recommend this to everybody. Like, you get those little silica packs. you take them and put them in your camera bag, and just like put them in there just so they're constantly like draining whatever humidity out of the air. But yeah, also just in case you need them to like put next to your camera to draw the water out of them. It's yeah, I don't know. I had one time I was photographing a couple after an ice storm,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided I was going to get like I'm going to do some a little bit of video to like throw into like a slideshow for their engagement photos, and I'm like, I'm just going to walk around them, and I hit a patch of ice as I was like walking around them, and totally went down. But I like shot my arm out and like up so that like the camera didn't hit the ground. It's just like we always have that like, as photographers, you always have that like instinct, like save the camera, save the camera, save the camera. So it makes your story like all the more painful.
I think I've had like a few drops, but nothing like that's chipped or damaged anything. I mean, camera bodies are usually pretty tough. I mean, it's not saying that like you should risk it, but like they usually take a drop or something. But the closest I've had to
I mean, you can a little bit.
There's probably a little moisture. One night I was doing a time lapse, and this was back with my kit lens, so I didn't think it'd be that bad at night. But I came back in the morning, it was just completely like rooted moisture. I mean, nothing got messed up or anything. I made sure to like put those little silica things in there and just dry it out, but nothing was messed up, thankfully.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Well, Josh. Hey, photographers! The Nerdy Photographer Podcast wants to hear your stories. That's right. If you have an amazing, crazy, funny, heartwarming, or even tragic or disturbing story you've personally experienced as a photographer, we want to hear about it. Go to nerdyphotographer.com and submit your story, or stories, doesn't have to be just one, and we may feature them on the podcast. And if you want, you can tell the story yourself on the podcast. We would love to have you on as a guest. What have you got to lose? Share your photography story with us and see what develops. Hey, F 2.0, why don't you tell the audience what time it is?
And now for my favorite part of the show. What's that say? Useless information. This is always death.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. Before we go, I have our useless information for the episode. Since this was a football game you were photographing, the black and white stripes that football official uniforms wear first appeared in the 1920s after a quarterback in a college game tried to hand the ball off to an official.
Oh man, I can imagine.
Thought he was a player. Tried to give him the ball. That's why they wear the stripes so that nobody can confuse them with another player. Josh, thank you very much for sharing your story with us.
Problem.
Really appreciate having you on.
I appreciate being here.
And we're back, and it's still raining. Many thanks to Josh Cato for sharing his story. You can follow Josh on Instagram at cato.graphy. That's CATO.GRAPHI. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review. I'm going to say that again. Please subscribe and leave us a review. And if you already subscribed, you can also leave us a review. Yeah, how about that? You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Nerdy Photo. And it is still raining. Fibonacci should be here shortly. Hey, Rula, why don't you come over here and stand under the umbrella with us?
Toilet.
Has anybody else noticed that Rula has been especially feisty since she found out she has a potentially universe-destroying power source inside her?
Snug, 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 snug.
Okay then, until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay dry, and stay nerdy.
Get better. Listen.
Hey, does your web host really suck? I mean, does it crash all the time? Is your site getting hacked? I had that same experience for many years. My old web host, my site would go down, it seems like once a week. There were always these brute force attacks that would slow it down, and they kept telling me that it was my problem to deal with. That's why I moved over to SiteGround. SiteGround is fast and inexpensive. You can get WordPress hosting for just $3.99 a month. Yep, $3.99 a month. That's pretty cheap. So head over to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/SiteGround. That's nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/SiteGround.